In the last video, we introduced NgRx and saw how to add NgRx store to an Angular application. In this video, we're going to see the simple application that we're going to be building during the rest of this course and will create the initial setup. Let's go through the application very quickly. As we can see, we can load the customers component, and from there, we can manage the list of customers, we can add new ones, we can also edit customers, and of course, we can delete items from the list. And the changes will persist in the server. Now, if we inspect the application using the Redux DevTools, we'll see that we have the store with the application state, and we can track actions and all the changes in the state. In this example, we have the router state and the customer's state shaped using the NgRx entity library that we'll see later in this course. Let's go ahead and start building our application. In this video, we are going to create the folder structure for our project. We're going to build the main components and the router, and we'll also set up the customers module for lazy loading. As we're not going to do anything related with NgRx in this video, and this is basic Angular development, we're going to build the main files quickly, and we'll leave the NgRx part for the next video. Let's do that. But first, as we are going to be using JSON Server to simulate an API, we have to install it using the following command: npm install JSON Server. Once we have JSON Server installed, we need to add a db.json file in our application folder that will contain the initial data of the server. So we are going to add 2 customers inside. Now, in order to run the server and the Angular application with one command, we have to modify the package.json file and replace the start script to run concurrently Angular ngserve and JSON Server. For this to work, we have to install concurrently. And once we have it installed, we'll be able to run the application and the API with the command npm run start. Now, we are going to create the basic structure and the components for our project. And the first thing we are going to do is add the bootstrap CSS file in the index.html, so we have some nice styling by default. Now we are going to create the main components using the Angular CLI. So let's go ahead and create the home component with the command ngg-c-home. The navbar component. And now we are going to create the customers module. And inside the customers folder, we are going to create the customer component and the customer add component, and also the customer edit component, and last, the customer list component. Now that we have the main components, we're going to create the app routing module using the -- flat option so it doesn't create a folder. Let's add the app routing module to the app.module.ts file. Here we have to import the app routing module and then add it to the imports array. Now we are going to define the routes in the app routing module. Import the router module, declare the routes with lazy loading for the customers, add the routes to the imports array, and export the router module. Then we are going to add the routes to the customers module. Import the router module, define the customer routes, and add them to the imports array. Let's save the file. And the last thing for the routes, we are going to add the router outlet to the app component HTML file. Save it, and the router should work correctly. Let's continue with the components. We are going to add some initial HTML to our file. First, to the home components HTML, then to the navbar component HTML, Now to the customer component HTML. We are going to add a form to the customer add.component.html. And also to the edit component. And last, let's add some initial code to the customer list component HTML. Let's run the application to make sure we don't have any errors. For more details about the HTML for the components, please check out the branch initial setup from the repository. So we don't have any errors, and if we check in the browser, the templates are looking fine. For now, we have everything ready to implement the store and start working in our components. We'll do that in the next video, where we'll install the NgRx libraries and set up the store. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button if you like it, and share this course with any person that might be interested.